Yeah, so if there's a channel out there that I would definitely say is the whisperer for the wine mom liberal contingent of this country, it's definitely that I've Had It podcast with Jennifer Welch and some other person. And I've had to address this once before, only because the hypocrisy that came out of this person's mouth was insane. And so she's been, trying to, again, when the tide's turning, you see how people try to evolve. You see their commentary changes. Mm-hmm. And so she's trying to act like I'm on Team Zoran and I love Zoran and this and that. And the Democratic establishment is doing this, that, and the other thing. But there is shit that comes out of their mouth that is so obvious that there's a reason why people don't like you, because you are elitists. And when your elitism oozes out of your pores, people are like, I don't give a fuck what party you're in. I don't care what faction you're in. Whatever you're involved in, I'm not going to be a part of it. And if you're in the leadership committee that people are answering to you, get me as far away from it as you possibly can. So this is a clip that we drew from just the other night. Mm-hmm. Some of it's good. Some of it's really fucking bad. And so you got a hodgepodge. So here we go.
Is watching genocide being committed by Israel and the United States of America in Gaza against Palestinian children, and the dam is breaking. Let's listen to Jon Stewart talk about this.
This has rocked I feel like a crazy person. I feel like I'm watching something that is so self-evidently inhumane and horrific, and to be told that I have to shut up because I risk the Jewish state by speaking out, I would say the opposite. I think they're putting the likelihood of a surviving Jewish state much more at risk with this type of action. I think they're the ones that are being if you want to define Netanyahu, with the definition of anti-Semitism, would probably have to bomb himself.
I'm just going to say, if you want to save one member of the liberal establishment, and you can only save one, Jon Stewart's my pick. That's my pick.
I mean, okay, look, I'm happy to see this change. But it's just sort of like what I said because when the first No Kings March happened, I was going to cover it. I was going to do a live stream coverage of it. But then I got sick to my stomach because I almost yelled out, where the hell have all of you been? Because it's good to see everybody out there, and it's good to see people talk. I'm glad I'm seeing. It's just, man, you guys are late on this. You're really late. You were needed like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, to really be dropping these truth bombs, okay? And I know I shouldn't be using the word bomb, but no, you guys were needed to be speaking about this. So it's fine that people are seeing it because they're reading the room. Because remember, we both been in this business for quite a while. 8 years of doing this, I have seen how people do the flippity-flop, the flip, the switch, the change, when they decide to change their narratives because they realize public opinion, it will not condone just being indifferent to it. No. You want to get on board, but see, there's always a price, because then it's like, oh no, I've always been on this side. I've always thought like this. It's either you're consistent or you're not, or you just got to say like, hey guys, I thought this and I didn't know. But you're never going to get that from people. You know that? You're never going to get that.
So let's hear what the wine mom has to say. That's just, with all due respect, Mrs. Welch, you're just going to be known as wine mom. Like that's what I'm calling you from now on.
Okay.
So everybody is seeing these images coming out of Palestine, and it is absolutely horrific. And what needs to be put at the center of this is that we have both Democratic and Republican politicians who are beholden to AIPAC that shut the fuck up and don't speak out about this because they're bought and paid for by the lobbyists. And this is the only bipartisanship that I see in the United States Senate and the House of Representatives is an Israel first policy. And that Israel first policy is a complete genocide of Palestine.
That is as concise and succinct a statement as you can possibly make. I agree with it 100%. I can also show you photographs from the convention in Chicago, not from where you were standing, but from where Chris Cuomo, who only did that segment because he's a jilted lover and pointed out where all of the rich people happened to hang out, and she was hanging out in one of those luxury boxes. And who was she hanging out with? Dan effing Goldman.
Of course. Of course, man.
I appreciate her saying this, but it's about, I don't know, 20 months too late, I suppose.
Well, it's a safe face because no one can hide it anymore. And the issue is, and I've brought this up on my show, and I'm trying to find a better way to articulate this, but you know, I'm pretty sure you and I are, I'm 40 years old, so we're about the same age, almost, give or take a few, right? Okay. So then that means, you know, you've read your fair share of comic books, watched some science fiction movies, action movies, TV shows about when there's real evil, like, oh my goodness, it almost seems impossible, but the good guys gather together and they stop it. Evil must be opposed. And I think for us mentally saying this, because we've seen the entertainment, we learned the lessons from our entertainment, like stopping the bad guys, you know, yeah, justice must prevail. When something evil is happening, it's got to be stopped. But the problem is, it's putting us all in a real messed up spot, is that we're not stopping it.
No,
we're not opposing real terror. We're not opposing the inhumanity that man is doing upon his brother. And for a nation, I think that leaves us in a very confused spot, because in turn, what I want everyone to understand is they are already doing the pain and suffering to us too. Maybe not to the level what's happening to the people in Gaza, but our politicians will sell us down the river. They will shut down our schools. They will make sure you drink poison water. They will make sure your children breathe poison air. They'll make sure that you're exposed to chemicals. They'll make sure your house is burnt down. They'll make sure your house is blown away through a hurricane. They don't care about you. See, the thing is, we're all in a line. We just ain't next, but our time is coming. And I think that the fear is that people don't know how to react or organize, because we've been trained to listen to the system of establishment that was passed from our grandfathers to our fathers to upon us as well.
And big shout out, of course, always to our good friend Jordan Chariton at Status Coup News. And we have a lot of Status Coupers in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
For every East Lansing, there is a Flint.
Mm-hmm.
For every Lexington, there is an East Palestine.
Mm-hmm.
For every Chicago, there is an East Chicago.
Yes.
And that is the real secret sauce, if you will, to this broken capitalist system.
Mm-hmm.
If you think things are good on one side of town, like it is on the northeast side of Chicago, well, go to the southeast side of Chicago and see how the people who have to slave themselves to death live, so that the people on the northeast side of Chicago can live like kings and queens.
Well,
that's the secret.
I you know, the thing is, and the thing is, like, now there's problems happening on the north side too, because there's a whole system of collapse. Because, you know, just to be clear about what's happening in my city, my wonderful city of Chicago, and you know, oh boy, I don't want to tear up because I'm thinking about the good old days. But the thing about the old days is that they're the old days.
You mean when the Bulls won 6 titles out of 8 years?
Oh, come on. Don't hurt me. We're in my heart right now. Come on. Come on.
Let me tell you something. I will be shocked if you see another one in your lifetime. Michael and Scotty gave you the best years of your life.
Are you kidding me? As a kid, I loved every single minute of it. God, those are some good days. But, you know, when you look at Chicago, because you have environmental racism, okay? You do have hyper segregation. See, Chicago is not only segregated, it's a hyper segregated city. And I think even now you could still do it. But if you start off from the way up on the north side with the red line, go from the red line from the north side all the way down to the south side, you'll see a gradual decline and destruction of the north going all the way down to the south side. You'll see schools shut down, homes shut down.
Oh, yeah.
It is almost night and day.
Dude,
and
it's been a number of years since I was there, but I remember when I flew into O'Hare and I took the train into the city, and you go through the Northwest ghetto in order to get to downtown Chicago. And let me tell you, man, that is a very, very rough area.
Oh, yeah.
You know, every single building is tagged with the Chicago Disciples, with the Latin Kings. It's like this is what the city's become, and this is on the north side. When people think, "Oh, it's just the south side," no, not really.
No, it's everywhere. It's all over the city now. It's all over the city now. And you know, Mayor Brandon Johnson, you know, I will give him this. He is an all-star professional. I've never seen any mayor become more hated than Lightfoot. I mean, if you become more hated than Lightfoot, you are a professional. How you could pull that off is beyond me, because Lightfoot was hated by everybody. But now people are looking at Brandon Johnson and they hate him more because of the failure of his leadership. He talked about bringing progressive change. He kept people on from the Emanuel administration and the Lightfoot administration. He didn't bring in his own people. Of course, he did in some of the administrative office, but others are from Emanuel and Lightfoot. He didn't bring in change. He kept things the way they are. And it doesn't come as a surprise that his whole entire administration has been an absolute shite show. I mean, I've never seen a mayor quickly deflect and blame others as much as I've seen Brandon Johnson. In my opinion, he is a one-term mayor. And even then, just as a side note, Flint, Michigan, there's still lead in Chicago's drinking water, and it's up to the homeowners and renters and everybody, well, not renters, but landlords if they want to if you got lead pipes, you got to pay for it out of your own pocket. City ain't going to help you out.
And that, as we go back to the clip, this is where Mrs. Welch, I don't think truly could ever appreciate the real issues here, because she was a reality TV star. She lives in the wealthiest part of Oklahoma. She doesn't understand and could never understand what it's like to live like this. And that's why, while her is certainly appreciated saying the right thing, it's like there's a reason you're a Johnny-come-lately to this, because now you're realizing that you might be on the chopping block. And the second that starts to happen, that's when you notice the shift.
It's unbelievable to me. We have one independent senator that came out. I mean, seeing these images, you cannot look away and think, oh, yeah, we need to fund Israel, in my opinion.
And this has been going on for a very, very, very long time. And the Democratic Party is so complicit in this. And there's a huge problem with the base. So many senators speak out about the human rights violations in deporting people. But then when it comes to this, where you see starving children, they don't say a word. I'm so sick of the Democratic establishment politicians treating their base like we're just as dumb as the MAGA base.
God. Wait.
And there is the problem. That's the problem. They're just as dumb as the MAGA base. No, we're much smarter than they are. Okay, let's say that you have a significant portion, or not even a significant, but a chunk of the voting base that happens to support Trump or support the GOP that's in the heartland or the deep South. And their entire existence in many ways is centered around the church. Did a lot of these people have a choice in terms of how they were brought up? She speaks of people that are the so-called ignorant side of politics as if they had a choice to not get a formal education, which is why Jen always points out how when you see these children, these psychopathic Israeli children hating on Palestinians, where in the fuck do you think that comes from? You think that that's their decision? No, it's the culture they're brought up in. It's a cultural problem, which is why when people talk about the issues in the Black community, it's not that they're Black, it's that there is a cultural problem in certain communities. And no one wants to talk about that part. It's always, well, MAGA sucks, and so the hell with these guys. And it's like, no, lady, you are a privileged white woman in a wealthy community. You do not ever get to talk about we're smarter than the MAGA people.
I would go ahead and argue and make a statement here, and that is, you know, when you hear these people who say like, oh, well, we're smarter than the MAGA base, I'm like, you know what? You can't really judge a person, because I've spoken to my fair share of Trumpers. You know, if anything, I never underestimate anybody where you stand politically. I've seen my fair share of idiots on the left, and on the right. See, stupidity takes many forms, just like evil, as does intelligence and kindness. I remember when our most recent termination, I had like maybe 10 different Trump supporters, like diehard Trump supporters, saying, hey, I don't like what happened to you. What can I do to help? Hey, I don't like this. What's going on? And actually become diehard viewers of the show. They don't like anything I say, but it's like, no, I see where your integrity lies. I could work with you. And that's fine. That's fine. I would say to everyone here, especially how she's trying to turn this new leaf over, like, okay, fine, but you're still making the same mistakes. You're calling people morons without even realizing that you're calling people morons, because you just can't say, well, oh, the Democrats are treating their base like MAGA. No, the Democrats have always done this. I remember 2016. I remember 2020. The Democrats waving their finger saying, oh, you got to vote for Hillary Clinton. Oh, you got to vote for Biden. Or what? Are you a racist? Are you a Trump supporter? Are you evil? Like,
I mean,
no.
honestly, anybody who votes for Hillary Clinton, I can't really say you're that smart.
Well, okay. Fair enough. But hey, look, people could change. Because you know what? I'm gonna keep it real. When I was in college, I did vote for Obama twice, and I'm like,
Obama got me once.
Yes,
he got me in 08.
Yeah, he got me twice. Obama, listen, folks. Let me be clear. This is Obama here on the show. And let me be clear. I got Kit twice. Go ahead and vote.
The American people deserve to have a life with dignity.
There you go.
That involves me not having a multi-million-dollar mansion on Martha's Vineyard. I can't help you. Just got to call it. You got to call it what you got to call it as you see it. That's what I say.
Because we're not. Exactly. We see what's happening. We see all of the propaganda coming out of Benjamin Netanyahu's mouth. We see senators posing with Benjamin Netanyahu. We watch the AIPAC tracker and we see how much money they're getting, and they don't speak out about it. So you don't have any credibility when you want to speak out about egregious human rights violations that are happening in the United States of America right now by deporting people and sending them to concentration camps. You speak about that with, just so much passion and enthusiasm, and you're horrified about it. Then when it comes to this, it's crickets, and they think we're dumb. And that's the problem. I think every Democratic politician needs to do something bold and get rid of all AIPAC money. Right now, in this time in American history, in global history, it is time to get rid of AIPAC. These people want to take people like Jon Stewart, who's a critical thinker, who is a Jewish comedian, and tell him that he can't speak out against egregious genocide that he's seeing with his own eyes and hearing with his own ears because he's Jewish, and you're not allowed to speak that way. AIPAC is the thought police, and I'm just going to go and say, I don't see that big of a difference between AIPAC and the Nazis. And let me just keep building this case. Next up, here's a Israeli hardliner. He's an Israeli.
Before we continue, and I will continue it, if you want to know who's a bigger psychopath than Netanyahu, Ben Gvir is an even bigger psychopath.
Minister of National Security. And here's what he says about Palestine. They should be crushed to pieces, starved to death, and not resuscitated with humanitarian aid that gives them oxygen. This doesn't get covered in the mainstream media because there is a whole quiet agreement that you can't talk about Israel. You can't talk about their war crimes. You can't talk about how they just openly and brazenly want to move 2 million people out of the Gaza Strip so Donald Trump, Benjamin Netanyahu, and Jared Kushner can develop it into real estate. And this is so disgusting. And until the Democratic Party gets moral clarity on this, we will continue to lose election after election after election. But
here's the problem. She's right on the one hand, but she's framing it, and this is why I wanted to point this out, and why, if anybody is a supporter of the Democratic Party, and especially if anybody who is secretly watching our channel now that happens to identify as a liberal, a comfortable urban or suburban liberal, and you happen to like Jennifer Welch, okay, keep this in mind. She isn't framing this from a completely humanitarian perspective. she's framing it from a perspective of how can we make the Democrats successful and the Republicans failures as a result?
Yeah. And the thing is, you cannot fix the system with the Democrats. You cannot fix it by then voting in Republicans. And then you can't just go bringing it right back to Democrats. It's all got to be torn down. The system is designed to make you think that one side is better than the other, and everyone just decides to fall asleep and then give the other side a chance. This is how history repeats itself. What needs to happen on a national level, and that means everybody watching. How many people we got watching right now live on all the socials? We got like what, 300 people? 300 people. Okay, so good. 300 people. Here's your homework assignment. The most impossible task that I will give you, and I give this task to my audience too. You're going to have to talk to your friends and neighbors, or easy that. Step outside your comfort zone and wake people up. Most of the time, people tell you to F off. Some will pretend to listen, and then there will be the select few that will hear. And in that, you must build your coalitions. And in that, we must talk about citizen ballot initiatives, building movements and organizations not connected to DC, and dare I say it, going even one step further, actually breaking away from the two-party system and solving our own problems through citizen ballot initiatives, through our own mutual aid and community outreach. That's what we have to do. We have to remind ourselves that we are the masters of this house. And right now, the way the politicians are representing us, it's almost, not almost, they are showing the world that we condone and support these sociopathic policies, both foreign and domestic. And I was always taught that when you walk outside your house, you're representing your family, you're representing your people, you're representing your values. When these congressmen and women go before the international stage, they're representing us. And seeing just how they are indifferent, Democrat and Republicans are, to the starvation in Gaza, homelessness here in America, ongoing wars. They're saying to the rest of the world that the American people are okay with this and we are giving them legitimate authority.